fastest in the semi-finals yesterday with 44.52. Those two men are going in the final, but they're not resting them this morning. The two women were Joseph and George. So we could see a hefty lead being built up by Nigeria here with Odo. So Nigeria in 1, Australia in 2, apologies. Australia in 3, Zambia in 4, Sri Lanka in 6, Sierra Leone in 7, and Jamaica in lane 8. The teams are away, 6 teams spread across the 8 lanes. Good start on the outside for Kennedy of Jamaica. Already opened up a gap over Sierra Leone and Sri Lanka. A reminder that these teams will stay in their lanes for 500 metres, so the whole of this leg. Then they'll hand over to the second leg athlete, the first woman, and she won't break until the back straight. So it's going to take a while for this stagger to unwind. Australia moving well in lane 3 as well with Van Ratlingen. Kennedy moving well, and Odu of Nigeria, I would have expected him to be a lot higher up here, the individual finalist. I wonder if he's misjudged this slightly. We'll have a look at the baton changeover, see who hands over first. Very tight there between Jamaica, Australia and Nigeria.
Yeah, I think Australia here with Gross on the second leg in the yellow going really well. The Nigerians with Joseph in second place. This, of course, the second leg. It goes man, woman, the order of running on the track. And the Australians just easing into the lead there from Gross. It's very tight between them, with the Jamaicans now moving through and attacking into third place is Anderson. It's Australia, Nigeria, Jamaica, and then back in fourth place, it's Zambia. Australia then beginning to ease away. This is a brilliant leg from Gross to give the Aussies the lead. She hands over to Sherman with Nigeria in second, Jamaica in third, and then some bigger gaps.
Good running here from the Australians. They were mighty impressive, particularly in the men's 4x4 at the World Relays, but they were good in this mixed relay as well. They've really got themselves organised in terms of maximising the opportunities for medals in the relays. But look at Samuel Ogazi. He was brilliant yesterday in the semi-finals of the 400 metres. Looked effortless running 44.52. And the Nigerian has eaten up pretty much all of the lead that the first two athletes from Australia gifted their nation. Sherman will have expected this move from Ogazi. And there's a real battle on for the last automatic qualifying spot between Zambia and Jamaica. But Nigeria, Ogazi hands to George with a minor lead, and Sherman to Pollard, and then Jamaica and Zambia right next to each other.
That was a brilliant run from Sherman of Australia to keep Ogazi at least at bay to some degree. They're very tightly locked together. Nigeria leading on this fourth and final leg through George. Pollard of Australia in second place. Then about 35-40 metres back to Jamaica, who have wrestled themselves into third place. Taylor ran well for them. Anderson on the final leg for Jamaica. Left a picture, but round the final bend, it's Nigeria who lead from Australia. They're miles ahead. They really don't need to extend themselves here, because the first three teams go through by right. Jamaica, a good gap behind them to fourth place as Nigeria kick away here to the win. George over the Australian Pollard. Watch the time. This will be a Commonwealth Games record. It's the inaugural edition, and she wins with a 52.41 leg there. 3:14.58. Australia second, Jamaica third, and then the rest of them coming home behind. And Zambia in fourth, Sri Lanka in fifth. They could go through as non-automatic qualifiers. Sierra Leone a distant sixth place there.
Nice running from Nigeria. And I agree with you, Tim. Sometimes they should look around and realise they're so far ahead. Maybe there's team orders in terms of get us a good lane when we look to that final. But for some of these athletes, particularly that Australian team, they might be trying to prove their spot on the team. You know, they might be sort of the second string athletes being given a run out in the heats, and they'll be desperate to prove what they could produce in the final tomorrow night if they're just given the opportunity. But I think that is a full-strength Nigerian squad. Perhaps we've got Ona Jawevro, who look very good qualifying for the individual final. So one of the women there between Joseph and George might be replaced by Ona Javavro when we look at tomorrow evening's final. The Australians as well, they can bring in Reynolds. And that gives them a tiny bit more firepower. They've got Sarah Carley, the 4 hurdler as well. She's in the final in that event. I don't know if she'd be of interest to them. And the Jamaicans have got Dejane Oakley on the women's side, who I think she dominated qualification yesterday, Dejane Oakley. And, so they could find a little bit extra, but I don't know if that's enough for the Australians and the Jamaicans to get on terms with Nigeria.
Yeah, they weren't holding back, were they? I mean, when you think that there's only just over 24 hours until those finals tomorrow night, I think you could make a pretty strong case for running more conservatively than was the case here, the Nigerians against the Australians. I'll tell you what, that was a brilliant leg from the Aussie runner-up against Agazi Sherman, because Agazi clearly is in fabulous shape, the favourite for the individual 400 metres, I would say. And yet the Nigerians holding on to that lead through George on the final leg against Pollard. It was pretty close between the pair of them. It'll be interesting to see how the times pan out in the second heat. I suspect those were very strong times. Nigeria's time 3:14.58 is unofficially a games record, because as Hannah said, it's the first time this has ever been run at the Commonwealth Games. 3:15.21 for Australia, and then Jamaica in third, 3:17.36.
Great scenes here of the Nigerians cheering each other on. That was Joseph just being warned by the officials, like, go on the track now. You can use your voice, but you have to...
In a chance of another medal grouping. It's the 4x4, mixed 4x4. I mean, what are you going to do next? You're going to have a 4x4 for 3 men and 1 woman, and 3 women and 1 man. I'm just being a little bit controversial.
Never, Tim, never. You controversial? I can't believe that.
What do you think, though? Wouldn't that be fun? Because actually the shot putters are fabulously fast over 60 metres. They can really shift.
Yeah, their last
jumpers,
obviously.
Good, it goes without saying the jumpers are pretty good. Yeah. Well, no, I remember Jeff Capes racing Brendan Foster in a 100 at Crystal Palace years ago, and he wiped the floor with him. Now, Brendan wasn't exactly a sprinter, but Jeff Capes was about 300 pounds.
Yeah, we've watched the throwers train in training camps before, and that you're right, that their explosive power, they are so fast over 30 metres generally.
It would be great fun, wouldn't it?
I hear your point, Tim, but it's very entertaining. Yeah. The crowd love this mixed 4x4. We're having a mixed 4x1
what,
come into the
telling me they would love to see a shot putter against a long jumper, against a pole vaulter, against a middle distance runner.
It's much harder to explain than a mixed 4x4, and we've got the mixed 4x1. I love the drama of the changeovers in that mixed 4x1. We're seeing that being introduced at championship level this year. Not here at the Commonwealth Games, but I think that's another kind of string to the bow. The crowds love relays. I know what you're saying, Tim. You could have different relay formats, but yeah, I think this really works.
I would defend to the death your right to be wrong. You're always so sensible. Kenya go in lane 8 in this second heat. Tonui, Chebet, Moresa and Okech, their quartet. Papua New Guinea, their quartet. Ball, Abkup, Kalba and Herman. In Scotland, in lane 6, Scotland, Young, Grieve, Francis and Adam. You'd never guess they're on home soil, would you? So they make the first 3. You want home teams to be in the finals. Maldives go in lane 5. Adam, Ahmed, Hussein and Nizar, their quartet. Then the Indians go in lane 4. They carry the baton very well quite often. Tenarasu, Kayazigi, Babu, Ramesh and Rashid Kaur, their quartet. Ugandans go in lane 3 in the yellow. That's Adali, Banura, Okwi and Shida. And then in lane 2 it is England. Harries, Malik, Jeffries and Lena Nielsen on the final leg. Not a pretty strong squad from England. The times for Zambia and Sri Lanka, who were 4th and 5th in the first heat, 3:21.72 and 3:22.42. So that's the time we need to look out for the 4th team in this one. Under 3:21.72, or actually under 3:22.42. Sri Lanka's time in 5th place. If the seeding has been done right, they'll have 4 from each. There was no quarter given in that first heat. There was no tactics. It was pretty much flat out from the Nigerians and the Aussies. with Jamaica not too far back in third. Those are the qualifying trio from Heat 1. England in 2, Scotland in 6. Kenya on their outside might give a good account of themselves here. They can produce really good 400-meter runners. Left to picture, the Kenyans have gone off very fast. Way up on Papua New Guinea, that perhaps to be expected. In lane 6, the Scots looking strong here through Young on the opening leg. Remember, the stagger doesn't unwind until the second leg runner gets into the back straight. But Kenya way out on their own here. England going well on the inside too through Harries on this first leg. We'll get a much clearer picture once the handover happens and the athletes get into that second leg, athletes get into the first bend. But Kenya going well here. It's been a solid run from Tanui. England going really well on the inside in lane 2, and Scotland having a nice run as well through Young on that opening leg.
I think a minor advantage there for Kenya on the handover, and then pretty even between Scotland and England. As we go down the back straight, it's been a good start here from Poppy Malik of England, flying through the first corner here to get herself ahead of Babu of India. The Indians moving well as well. But Malik, I think that's a tactical decision to go very hard in the first 100 metres and stay out of trouble here for the break. In the relays, it's so good to get ahead, to be ahead on the back straight there. That gives your teammate lane 1 when you come into the home straight. So Malik won't have to drift wide. We look at the Kenyan athlete here, Chebet. She's got to look up and wonder where her teammate is. And the Scots closing well. A good effort here from Grieve, but Malik locked in a battle here with Chebet. England and Kenya side by side, and Scotland have done a great job of getting themselves in the top 3.
England, Kenya and Scotland, quite a gap behind them to India. England with, on this third leg, is Jeffries up against the Kenyan third leg runner, Marwesa. Jeffries strong through 200 metres on his leg. 1 metre the gap between them, that's all. Back in third place at the moment is India. Scotland have got some work to do, they're back in fourth. England in the lead then, under assault here from Marwesa of Kenya. What a run this is from the Kenyan. He's coming back at the Englishman. It's going to be very tight here, but they're out in first and second. First 3 go through by right, remember.
Nielsen and Okech, what a final leg, these two seasoned international athletes. Lena Nielsen just getting ahead here into the bend, and Okech doing really well to chase it. It's Scotland in third place with Adam, and they look like they've got a good buffer ahead of the Indians as well. Rashdeep Kaur will chase hard and short. She gives her team a chance of a time qualifying spot. But England from Kenya in the second heat of the mixed 4x4, top 3 teams advance to the final. But as with the previous race, they're running for national pride. They want to win this opening round as well. Nielsen kicking hard into the home straight. Just 50 metres to go. Okech, perhaps slightly disappointed with her individual performance, didn't make the final, but she will make the final with the mixed 4x4 squad and her Kenyan teammates. England from Kenya and the host nation, Scotland, striding across the line. Great final leg by Adam there to put them through to the final. 3:15.11, slightly slower than the first heat. Pretty comparable with the first few teams there, and we'll try and wrap up the time qualifiers just as soon as the rest of the nations come across the line. There's Papua New Guinea, followed home by the Maldives.
Well, it looks like India have made it through. 3:20.98 in fourth place in that one behind the automatic qualifiers, England, Kenya and Scotland. India then will go through unofficially. They were slightly quicker than Zambia, fourth in the first heat. And Uganda, well, they were 2.5 seconds back behind India in fifth place in that second heat. So they, 3:23.47, will not go through. It has worked out rather nicely. The first 4 in the first heat, first 4 in the second heat. The non-automatic qualifiers then are Zambia from heat 1 and India from heat 2.
It's incredibly hard to seed this event, particularly when you split the home nations into the English team and the Scottish team that we had here. You know, they would compete as Great Britain on the circuit, so you can't take their seed time. And that's pretty impressive to get it so right that you've got 4 teams from each heat. And the English can bring in Yemi Mary John, as one of their female athletes if they want. Yemi Mary John going in that 400 individual final tomorrow morning. And the Scots have got Nicole Jurgen as well, just completing her individual campaign, who could come in for their final. So they've got some improvements they can make there and find a little bit of extra time. But for me, the Nigerians and the Australians, and maybe even the Jamaicans in that first heat, the teams on paper that you would still expect to hit the medals. I was impressed with Kenya here. Really good showing, being so close to the English quartet. A growing force in the relays. And when you look at going into this mixed 4x4 format, and the Kenyans finding 2 men and 2 women, it allows them to be very competitive. I'm not sure they've got the strength and depth in the women's or the men's only 4x4 to be mixing it up with these nations. So I like that about the mixed 4x4 as well. It just makes it a bit more accessible for every nation. No,
it's a good point, a really good point. If you haven't got the strength and depth in one gender, this does give more nations a chance. Next event on the track after these 4x4 heats is the women's T54 400. 2 heats of that. Those begin at 5 past the hour. So what, in about 12 minutes time. By the way, it's 14 degrees here in Scotstoun Stadium. It's a cool day, I think the coolest yet. When we left the hotel this morning, it was 9 or 10 degrees to get on our bus and head over here. The 15-minute journey from the hotel to Scotstoun Stadium. Yeah, all of us sitting here up in the commentary box in the shade and in the wind, putting on extra layers. Sunshine out on the track, though. It's all right for the athletes. Would you prefer to be competing, Hannah?
Nope. I'm always glad to be watching rather than competing. There's heat 2 of the mixed 4x4 confirmed results. England from Kenya, from Scotland and India have been given the little cue, the time qualifier. It's too stressful competing, Tim. I'm glad to have left that behind and just be able to spectate and enjoy this wonderful sport.
Is it not that little itch that makes you want to get out there, though?
It's like a fake itch, Danny, that kind of harbours, and then you see them on the start line and you realise that it's a stupid
When you see
itch.
them feeling sick, standing there, that look on their face.
And India and Zambia confirmed as the time qualifiers alongside the other nations that finished in the top 3. Nigeria the fastest, and they've still got Ona Jawavro to bring in